Good morning everyone, I am Dozie. In this video I'll be showing you how to build a navbar with different hover effects and designs using only HTML and CSS. Before we do that, let's demo our navbar and see what we'll be working on. So here is our navbar. This is what we'll be working on. We'll be adding this transform scale hover effects to this logo over here, and this color hover effects, and also the transform scale hover effects to this explore button over here. So let's get to work. So the first thing I'm going to do right now, I'm going to create a folder on the home screen. I'm going to call it Navbar, and that is the folder I'll be using for our project. I have an image over here, just a random image for the background, so you can choose any image of your choice. Now I will copy it into this folder we created. So let's open the folder with our code editor. I'll be using VS Code right here. Once you've done that, let's start with creating the HTML file. So index.html and the CSS file style.css. Come over here, hold on shift, then click on 1, then enter. I'll be modifying this to navbar and next those. So let's link the HTML file to the CSS file. So in between this header tag, tap out link and enter, and style.css. So the first thing we are going to be doing, you're going to be creating a header tag in between this body. So let's start with creating the header tag. So header, and inside this header tag we'll be creating another div tag called navbar. Right inside this navbar, the first thing we are going to do is to create the logo I showed you, the next those logo. I was having the transform scale hover effects, so I'm going to put it in a h1 tag, h1, and I'm going to just type out the next those. Then I'm going to separate this using spans. The first thing I'm going to do is separate this n, so span, and also for this one. So when you're done with that, we'll be creating another list, and inside the other list we'll be creating a list for the navbar, for the home, service and contacts. So let's start with creating the another list, and inside this we'll be creating the list. In between this list now, you give an a tag, then href, and right here we put in the home, then copy this and paste it in 4 places. Let's add one more. So we'll call this services, and we'll call this contacts. We'll call this about us. We'll call this projects. So the next thing we are going to do right now is to create the button I showed you, the explore button, that was also having the transform scale hover effects. So we'll come down to this place, still in between this on another list, button, and we add the explore here, the explore text. Then we'll give this button a class of btn. So right now we are done with the HTML file. Let's head over to the CSS file and start styling. First thing, I'm going to set up the background for my styling. So set this margin to 0, set this padding to 0, set the font family. I'll be choosing this Arial over here. So go over to this HTML file, copy this body, let's start with the body, paste it over here, then height 100 VH, width 100%, background, we'll be adding the Switzerland image I showed you. You can use any one of your choice that you have. Good. So come under this place, background size, set it to cover, background position, set this to center. Let's run this on our live server and see what we've done so far. Okay, I will separate this so you can see what I'm doing. This is what we've done so far. So let's continue styling. Go over to this HTML file, copy this Navbar class over here, come over to the CSS and paste it. Start with display. We are going to set this to flex. Then align items, center. The next thing we are going to do is the justify content. Also set this to center, and let me align this well. Then padding, the padding right, I'll set it to 10%. The padding left, I'll also set it to the same 10%. The padding top, I'll be setting this to 30px. So we are done with this one. This now go over here. Go over to the HTML file. Let's style this next those text. So copy this H1. Come over to the CSS and paste it. I'll start with setting the color to navy. I can see the effect has shown. Then setting the font size. Let me say 40px. Let's see. Increase it to 50. That is better. Then let's add the hover effects for this. The transform scale over effects that will make it get a little bit bigger when you hover on the text. So come over to this place, place the H1 again, double column hover. Transition, we're going to set the time transition to 1 second. Then transform scale, set this one to 1.2. Then color, set this to white. So this is good. Let's make use of these spans in between this place, these spans. So copy this span, go over to the CSS file and call it. Set the color to, I'll be using a special color code here. So I'll be using 18, 18 and 58. This is it. This is better. Next thing we are going to do right now is to style this once over here. So go over to this HTML file again. You'll be copying this UL and LI. So let's start with copying the UL to the CSS, paste it, then LI. Give it a display of inline block. Then a padding of 10px and 20px to create a spacing between them. Then we'll be come over to the HTML file, this A tag right here, copy it over to the CSS and paste it. Let's start with giving it a color. I'll give this white, and that should be better. Then font width, let's make the font width bolder. Then the text decoration, we set the text decoration to none, so remove this underline under this. None. Let's add hover effects to it, so when we hover on this, it will show the navy color. So just come under this place, call the A tag again, double column hover. We'll select the color to navy and transition. The time transition, let's also make it 1 second. Okay, effect is functioning. The next thing we are going to do right now is to style this explore button. So go over to the HTML file, copy the BTN, this BTN class, go over to the CSS and paste it. We start with giving it a padding. I'll give it a padding of 20px and 30px respectively to make it bigger. Then border radius, so to curve the edge, I'll give it a border radius of 30px. This should be better to make it curved. Then background, I'll be setting the background to the color we've been using all this while, which is navy. Border, let me move that border over there. So set the border to none. Then the text, let's set the text inside it, this explore text, let's set it to white. Good. I'm also going to make the font weight bolder to make the font thicker, like this one's over here. Then the font size, I'll be increasing the font size to, let's see, 10px. No, make it 15. This is better. Then we will also be adding the hover effects to the explore button, the transform scale hover effects that makes this get bigger. We'll be adding it to this place. So we'll follow the due process, which is BTN that we copied, double column hover, then a curly brackets. I'll be setting the cursor to pointer to give this effect. Then time transition 1 second. The transform scale to the same 1.2. So guys, we've come to the end of this video. As you can see, this is an easy code. We've created a responsive navbar. Let's check out the responsiveness. As you can see, it is responsive with this transform scale hover effects on this logo and this explore button and this color hover effects on this. It's an easy navbar to improve your CSS text. Consider giving it a like, a share, and don't forget to subscribe to know when we release our next video. Thanks.